Alright everybody, once more into the breach. Brandywine, Howe is coming in from the south. I want to try and make the south option work. We'll see if it happens this time. Turn 1, which is actually turn 4. Turn 4 of an 8-turn game. Green doesn't move. Nothing's happened yet. Sullivan doesn't move. Washington does not move. Nefastin does not move. Nobody moves until Howe has appeared, which is now. Instead of coming right up along the Brandywine here, this time I'm going to have Howe come in a few miles back. That's the Dragoons. Howe has moved on. Last is Sullivan. Now Sullivan has no idea that this is going on up here. He's dealing with Nefastin to his front. Turn 5. Whoops. Suppose we can actually bring on the commanders too, Howe and Cornwallis. Nefastin is drawn. He moves up, staying about half mile away, but nevertheless, they know he's moving. Sullivan holds. And now it's Cornwallis. Forward Dragoons, contact Pulaski's Dragoons. Now the Americans are becoming aware that there's a British force behind them. Green peels off some forces to investigate, and by golly, they're right. He sends word to Washington, which will confirm the words that Pulaski is sending him. Pulaski falls back west of Dilworth. Washington tells Sullivan to hold the river crossings, but send what else you can. Turn 6. Nathaniel Greene's troops tentatively move forward. By a pre-agreed arrangement, Cornwallis fires some cannons, and Nefastin knows it's time to go. Time is of the essence. Cornwallis presses forward and contacts everybody. The Dragoons fall back, but everyone else stays. We have a lot of combat all along the Brandywine, and all behind the colonial forces. There's a sudden eruption of fire. Crossing the Brandywine. At Jones Ford, Lord Stirling drives back the British assault. In the center, Knox's artillery drives back the Hessians. And at Chadds Ford, Muhlenberg's Virginians are driven back from the Brandywine. Now we go back to Cornwallis's command. Greene's men are driven back. And in the center, the Hessians drive back Mad Anthony Wayne's men. And finally over here in Wister's Woods. As required, the militia do their duty. They fire and they run away. But that was enough to wrong-foot the light troops, and Maxwell's light troops were able to push the British light troops back. But the remaining troops pushed forward, and Maxwell had to fall back. It's turn 7, and the Continental position is tenuous at best. The first thing Cornwallis does is deploy bags south of Wilmington Road. He recovers his spent troops and drives towards the river. Sullivan's troops reach the colonial lines in the center and reinforce them. Greene is at a loss for what to do. He can't get these last troops out. He has everyone else peel away. Well, there's nothing to do here but cross the bridge and attack from behind. Fergus and Scotsman spin. Nefastin races forward, throws the scattered troops from the woods into the attack. The Hessians hide behind the guns, and the guns fire, although they are ineffective. J. Grant's men in the 71st would like to spin and rejoin the attack, but Grant is down here and they are without combat command, therefore they stay. And Washington moves last, which allows him to react to everything with his command. He unpacks bags on Birmingham Hill, and he holds one more turn he has to last. Greene's surrounded troops below Chadds Ford. Although the Highlanders pay a price, the colonial troops go down. And here Nefastin's men come chasing down Greene's retreating troops. Risk he took pays the way risks usually pay. The troops are lost. Last turn, there may be time for one last effort. Sullivan leaves a couple detachments to watch the crossings and pulls everyone else back. Lord Stirling's exhausted men take advantage of the bags and recover. Nefastin's troops charge down from Chadds Ford and begin sweeping up the remaining colonial forces. He orders his Hessians across Britain's Ford. Greene's troops are exhausted, and though they are racing back to the baggage train, it will offer them no solace. In a fighting withdrawal from Nefasen, Washington pulls his troops back. He's trying to keep his army together, trying to save something. And Cornwallis gets the last move of the day. This is disastrous for the Americans. The Continentals, as it were. You know, Greene is back here caught behind enemy lines. I'm going to say that he went down with his men at Chad's Ford. Final turn, let us see what we can accomplish. American cavalry drives back the British cavalry. Here in the north, you probably see the heaviest fighting. Continental line, backed up by Maxwell's light troops. Attacked by British line, backed up by their light troops. After suffering heavy losses fighting through the line troops, when they start running into the American light troops, the exhausted Britons fall back. The outstretched American troops are run down in the woods. In the final combat, it's just a small detachment of men guarding the ford. Believe it or not, they drive back the front line of exhausted British troops before they too fall back. That was impressive. At the end of the battle, the night closes. Americans have lost 3 line units and some militia. The British have lost 1 line unit. The Americans escape in the evening, although it's hard at this point for the Americans to do anything other than they got routed off the board. They held nowhere. They got pushed back. The British have control of a major road. They've done it at very little cost. They didn't destroy the Continental Army, but they pushed them aside like the annoying gnat they claim they are. Good game. Please like and subscribe. I really appreciate it.